Some 2 months ago, we went through a vintage suitcase full of early paperwork and found some pretty cool stuff. The total worked out at around about $125 from what I could sell. Plus there was a couple of items that we put on eBay, so we'll check those results out shortly. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up the top now, that side. And we're about to do now the second half of that video because I would drag 2 old suitcases out of the storeroom, and this is actually part 5 of the shop storeroom cleanup. I'd forgotten I'd even had a playlist on this. So we've got another old suitcase here full of vintage paperwork and all sorts of interesting stuff. I don't really know what's in here. Let's have a look. But before we get into this, here's how the auctions, the eBay auctions, finished up on those 2 good items we found in the last box. So there's just under a minute to go of the first of these 2 auctions, and this is possibly, well, it is the most exciting one, I think, this 1960s Gibson guitar catalogue. You can see we've gone from our $50 start bid to $103.62. There's just under 40 seconds to go. There's been 11 bids. Nothing has happened today, but there was a bit of a bidding war going on yesterday. I think there was about 17 watches, so I fully expect to see a few snipers. And I would imagine it'll probably be posted to the States. I've had a couple of messages from potential bidders over there. So it should be hopefully an exciting finish. 15 seconds to go. I'd look very happy with $103, but you know, I think there'll be a sniper. Let's see, 7 seconds. It's right down to the business end of this auction now. 2 seconds. There has to be an automatic snipe, surely. 103. Let's refresh the page. 114. Okay, not as much sniping action as I would have thought, but $114.50 isn't bad for an old catalogue found in a box of old papers. So that's that one. The other one hasn't had as much interest. Here it is here. It doesn't finish for another 23 minutes, so we'll check in right at the end. And it started at $30. There was 3 watches, I think. We don't have any bids yet. So I'd like to at least get 1 bid on this one. If I don't, I'll put it in the shop, and I think it'll sell there. So yep, we'll be back with you shortly. And now we're down to 30 seconds or just under on the Atom chainsaw manual. I would have thought this would have a bit more interest. I think there was only 3 watches, so it's probably unlikely that it'll sell unless someone just jumps on it right at the end. I have the option of leaving it as a buy it now and just leaving it cycle on eBay, and I might do that as well as put it in the shop, and then I can cancel it if it sells. Let's see how we go there. Here, 5 seconds to go. Any late bids? Doesn't look like it. Refresh the page. No, it didn't sell. That's okay. I'll relist it as a buy it now, and I'll also put it in the shop for $30 because I think it's worth that. So I did relist that Atom chainsaw manual, and I put it as a buy it now for $35. It sat on there for about a month because that was back in April, and we're now into middle of June. So I'm finally getting back to this. We'll go through this suitcase now. Someone grabbed it at $35 as a buy it now. I did offer free postage, so I think I made about $30 out of that one. And as you saw, we did pretty well out of the Gibson catalogue. Let's get into this suitcase. Now, as I mentioned in the last one of these unboxings, or unsuitcasings, if there's such a word, I love going through old paperwork, and I've saved this from various deals over the time I've been trading. I think this has been locked away for at least 10 years or so. And when I sort very quickly because we don't often have a lot of time to do cleanups, and I just throw anything that remotely is interesting into a case or a box with the plan to get back to it soon, and sometimes soon means 10 years. So this came from a farming shed clean out, and there was a lot of agricultural related stuff. This one's probably from the 50s. It's actually got an ear tag here. I guess that's what it's selling, is it? Increase the value of your next wool clip. Change over to sister. Yeah, here we go. You can actually have your own name on the ear tag for your sheep. Given that they're plastic, it's probably 1960s, maybe 70s. There's an order form. No postage stamp required. Probably back when stamps were like 5 cents or something. I think it would have, well, if it was into the 70s, they would have been in cents. So interesting. Agricultural paraphernalia does sell quite well. Not worth a great deal. We've got some more here. Sheep owners love the graphics. that's for tags as well. That one looks a little earlier. The artwork looks 1950s on that one. 1951, a completely new design of an ear tag. So that's a great little brochure in really good condition. Oh, there's the tags. So they were bringing the plastic ones in the 50s. That's interesting. So the other brochure may well have been a bit earlier. So anyway, there you go. The prices are in shillings. So it's pre-1966 at least. Great graphics. I'll probably group these up and sell them as a group of early sheep ephemera. And I'm sure we'll get pretty good money for that. And as usual, at the end of this, I'll do a list of what sort of value we get out of here. We may or may not find something with eBaying. The Victorian Road Law. This looks 50s again. Be interesting to read the... there's Motor Car Act 1951. So, oh, look at that. How's that for a graphic? Now, sometimes I've seen these ads in magazines of the old petrol Bowsers, which are worth a lot of money now. They're very collectible. I would imagine an Ampol Bowser like that. I think that's called a Bullseye one or something like that. It may be a Wayne Bowser. Correct me if I'm wrong. Probably $3,000-4,000 maybe restored. So a nice piece, great advertising. So that will certainly sell. I would have at least 5 on that. And here's another one. Your code for the road, issued with driving licences throughout Victoria by kind permission and cooperation of the Chief Commissioner of Police. Well, isn't it nice that he's cooperative? So this again would probably be 50s. Most of this stuff was probably, it states statistics from 1947. There were 14,959 road accidents, 7,378 people injured, and 373 people killed in 1947 on the road. I think that's just Victorian edition. I wonder how that compares today. That's amazing. Of course, cars back then didn't have the safety features that they have nowadays. So, yeah, really interesting. So, yep, easily $5 on that too. We could probably nearly go $10 each on those. They're in such good condition. A guarantee for your Turner 4-stroke rotary mower. 1969 it looks, date of purchase. So this is a good go with for people that collect lawnmowers, and lawnmowers are certainly quite collectible these days. It may be worth throwing on eBay, but I think I'll put it in a folder here for maybe $5. I'd be happy to do that. I don't see it bringing big money on eBay, but you never know sometimes. I will quickly check it. Hole proof, I think that's for clothing. Hole proof in Brunswick. I am enclosing a pair of Mighty Zellion socks, washed. Haha, they put washed in brackets. Bought at such and such a place, which you fill in. Please send me free a new pair to replace them, as they have not given 3 months wear as guaranteed. Isn't that interesting? I don't think you'd get the service these days that you would have had from those companies back then. We have a cereal card. This is out of Vitabrits, Wheaties or Crispies. I think we had an album for these in the last suitcase. I don't think that's worth selling separately, but I often box these up or group them up and sell them as a small collection. What do we have here? An invitation to the presidential dinner, 1959, Shire Office, Nagambie. So it must be something to do with the electing of a councillor, perhaps. Interesting local ephemera, and I have got a box to go to the museum. I haven't passed it on yet. But if you remember in the last episode, we did find a heap of stuff from a local town nearby, Rushworth, and I did give all that to a local historian over there who was absolutely thrilled. These look like mantles for a Tilly lamp. That one, oh no. They're still sealed. I'm hesitant to open them. Oh, that one's been opened. So the old lamps, this doesn't have a mantle in it. It must have been used, hence it's why it's opened, I guess. So the old lamps had a cloth type bag that you tied around where the gas came through, or the pressurised kerosene, or whatever the lamp ran off, and the actual fabric became the actual part that glows. So these were obviously replacement mantles for a Tilly lamp. So this one feels thicker, so I'm sure the mantle's still in there, so they will sell quite well. Very nice, made in England. Oh, there's another one of those that's still got the mantle in it as well. Other than the local history stuff that we'll donate, I would imagine a lot of it's going to be like just $5 to $10 items. We have more rural related stuff here. Elder Smith & Co. This would be to do with selling wool and produce brokers. Consigned to siding would mean the railway siding. A lot of stuff was sent on the trains back in those days. So just unused tickets and some that were used. There's a whole heap of those. So again, I'll just bag these up and sell them in one lot, probably at $5. Some more local history here. Nagambie Fire Brigade, patron subscription card, unused. In the event of fire, ring 173 or the fire bell. Or maybe you could just go around to the station and ring the bell yourself. Keep this card in a conspicuous place. Nice local history there. I know a few of the guys in the local fire brigade here. They might like it as a bit of a memorabilia at the station. I'll certainly offer it to them. Okay, some more automotive paraphernalia here. Tyres Automotive Parts, a company in Melbourne. Note the old Melbourne phone number, FB3548. Batteries, a Ferris car radio. I think they were known as a picnic radio. You could have them in your car and you could take them with you if you were going on a picnic. Engine parts, home battery chargers. Oh, Villiers stationary engines. I've repaired quite a lot of those in my day, and I have a couple at home. We'll do a restoration on one day. So, interesting little brochure there. Probably not that valuable. Again, it might be just $5. I like to put a lot of these in a little folder in the shop, and people love flicking through them. It kind of doesn't bother me whether they buy them or not. Now, we had this before. This is a real picture postcard, a real photo postcard. Souvenir of Inverloch, Victoria. And it's got various scenes of the beach and some nice areas. And there's a note on the back, Dear Mother. I won't read it all to you, but it's basically just the weather's been nice. How are you going? We're well. Love from Marg. So no phones, very few phone calls in those days. People just sent postcards. And that's kind of what we would text to someone today. So can you imagine how much business Australia Post did just sending little notes back and forward to family members all the time? And there's none of that anymore, not even postcards so much anymore. That will have some value probably to Inverloch local people. It looks to be, was it dated? No, it just says Tuesday. It looks to be maybe 1940s. There's some old cars in the middle picture there. I think you had to see them. I'd say 1940s or so. So it might well be a good one to eBay. Some real photo postcards can bring pretty good money. We have some business catalogue here for glass. Galt glass. I've never heard of it. It's got a pin through the corner. So just building products. I think it's like a perspex, like a laser light or an elsenite. So probably not much value in that one. Dated September 1952. It'll go in the folder. I'd probably put $5 on it purely because I don't like to sell things for less than $5. And if someone's interested, they're probably going to, $5 doesn't even buy you a coffee these days, so they'd probably grab it for that. Oh, here's a price list for it. So the company were in Melbourne, and the price list for the particular products. So that can certainly go with it. Something else maybe for the local fire brigade. Nagambie Fire Brigade booklet, all about fire and probably what you should do and how you should protect yourself. That's in excellent condition too. Yep. So I'll probably donate that to the fire brigade if they want it. If they don't want it, it'll go to the museum. But certainly being local town stuff, it should stay here. We have a humorous postcard here. They did a lot of these risque postcards. Some of the humour was quite not funny. It's different times. Isn't it nice to see everybody enjoying themselves, Henry? It looks like Henry is actually struggling for breath, if you ask me. But you know, just a bit of a laugh. Promotion for cans, and underneath the window here, or the little flap, we have probably some little photos. There we go. A whole series of promotional tourism photos from Cairns in northern Queensland, all black and white. So it's a great thing to send back to family when you're on holidays, and a bit of humour to boot. There's a note on the back as well, no date, and it's signed Love Keith, and to Auntie Marg. So interesting. I would imagine that's, yeah, probably 1940s or so, might be 50s, but yeah, quite common, the early humorous postcards. Okay, some more about hole-proof socks, so we can group up. Oh, that's actually the sleeve that the socks were sold in. That's amazing. Who keeps this sort of stuff? So we'll put that with the other hole-proof thingo. Some more farming stuff. Cooper's notebook. These were just given away to farmers. This is the year 1955 to 56. And there's a lot of agricultural information, and then you have your notebook at the end. This one hasn't been filled in. I've had them before where they've been used, and a lot of them just note how many sheep they've shorn or the acreage of crop they've put in this year, but unused, and yeah, that should sell okay. Furniture people, they sold furniture, carpets, linos and Manchester, and these are in amazing condition. It's good that there's been no silverfish or any pests get in. Oh, there's some of the furniture. Very retro furniture. And looking through these brochures is a really good way to get to know how old furniture is as far as dating it goes. Now, I don't think this will have a date on it, but I think we established it was about 1950s. It's pre-metric, and the graphics certainly look 1950s. And here's 1950s furniture. So you had your Art Deco scalloped edge mirrors on your dressing tables. These are all plywood or a veneer type furniture. Art Deco still, and they used a lot of that furniture into the 50s. Plain plywood wardrobes, very hard to sell. We've had a lot of these over the years. I would certainly put one of those in the shop because it's a nice enough style that someone would go for it. But these wardrobes, unfortunately, they're not much more than firewood these days. You can't give them away. That's not a bad dressing table, but again, I probably wouldn't put that in the shop. We'd have more. If someone gave me one of those, I would probably take the hardware off the drawers and sell the hardware. I'd possibly take the mirror off, but unfortunately the rest of it, it's just not worth the space in the shop. You can, some people paint them white and give them the shabby look. Some people repurpose them for other uses, but they are only plywood and veneer and a fairly flimsy frame, so they're not good quality furniture. Same with that dressing table there. I'd sell the mirror, but I wouldn't sell the dressing table, whereas that one has enough going for it. It's always good to look at these brochures. Okay, fodder conservation, a bit more agricultural stuff. That's not much interesting there. This is someone's private ad. Have you considered the wise practice of fodder conservation? And it's printed by the Chronicle in Yarrawonga, which is a town up along the Murray River. Since my release from the army, I have concentrated on manufacturing grain storage silos, and he makes them in Yarrawonga. So Jack McCabe served in the army, started a business, come up with his own little card, and hopefully he did well. Very interesting. I don't think there's much money in that. That probably should go up to Yarrawonga, and I know some people that live up there, so we might pass that on to their museum. We have a flour bag here. 3 Bears porridge. Okay, it's not flour, it's oatmeal. 7 pounds. It's Jazz Mackenzie. I think they were a well-known flour mill back in the day. So, oh, look at that. Look out for further designs of new doll-cut oats on all Mackenzie's 3 Bears rolled oats and oatmeal bags. So, not only do you get a bag of oatmeal, but you get to make your own doll. In order to complete this doll, it will be necessary to obtain the back design from another bag. What great marketing! So you had to buy more of this to finish your doll. It's a Dutch girl. That's fantastic. Patent applied for 1936. What a beauty. Well, I reckon that's worth about $20. particularly if someone's got the bag with the back of the doll. That's a beauty. All right, here's some value here. Fordson Major Tractor. It's a probably an owner's manual, or is it a brochure, a sales brochure? That's a sales brochure. How good's that? Fantastic graphics again. Really good colour. It hasn't faded. Details on the engine. That's a great piece. That might be worth eBaying. I'll do a bit of checking on that. But tractor stuff usually does pretty well. I would be thinking at least $20 in the shop, but I will check that one. Fordson Major. Look at the sales and service van. How cool. I would love a van like that for the shop to park out the front. Although it won't hold as much as my van. Very good. All right, so that's... The office was in Geelong. I'll check that one out, but that's a good piece. All right, let's hurry up. This video will go forever. You'll get sick of me talking. We have another little bird out of a cereal packet. We have some envelopes here from the Shire of Goulburn, which was our local shire in the early days. These would be 1960s. I've kept all the envelopes, and interestingly, our museum is in the original Shire of Goulburn offices, so they'll love to see these. I don't think there's really much commercial value in them. That's just a letter addressed to someone. Shire of Goulburn again. And that's a letter with something in it. We'll check that out in a minute. All right, what do we got here? Oh, these are possibly more of those Cooper's books, notebooks. All right, I don't think the wrapping's really going to make much difference to it. Let's open it. Yes, they are. Unused Cooper's notebook from 1957. So that will be another one. We'll leave that one wrapped up. We might sell these as a group. Okay, what was in this envelope? It's been folded up in here for a long time. It's Rushworth. It's a prospectus for the Rushworth gold mines. Interesting. And there's a note with it. Dated 1955, and it's offering, I guess it's offering shares in a gold mining company. Yes, it is a share issue. One shilling per share. I wonder how that went. And here's the prospectus. So this is something that should go back to the Rushworth Historical Society. They may well have one, but this is in excellent condition with the accompanying letter. So it's all the details about the business proposal and a plan. There you go. It's a real live gold map, a treasure map, hey? Not according to scale. So anyway, it shows you where the early mines were. I reckon that one would probably sell quite well, but I think I'd give it back to the museum in Rushworth. They would appreciate it, and it will be preserved for future generations. Okay, we have another envelope here that's dated 1952. Diseases of sheep. Sheep shearing and crutching. Wool promotion. Okay, it's all farming related stuff. Let's have a quick look. It will probably all just be grouped together. The Australian Wool Board. Oh, that's just, yeah, a book on diseases of sheep. Australian Wool Board. Bad branding methods can ruin your wool. Wool promotion. Lucy the green blowfly, who strikes your sheep. All right, so that would be pretty interesting for a sheep farmer. How the 2 shillings per pail is spent. All right, so I think we'll leave that in a group lot, and it will certainly be, I reckon, at least $10, maybe even $20 for that one. We have a book here on St Andrew's Presbyterian Church in Nagambie, 1958. There will no doubt be locals pictured in the photos here. So, yeah, there's a few names that I recognise, at least surnames. It's well before I was around. So, yeah, we'll pass that one on to the museum here. Okay, we have a little genuine Ford parts envelope, and it looks like it's a gasket for something. Oh, a couple of cork gaskets. Don't think that was much good, it's broken. So they're of no real value, but the little packet's pretty cool. We might just put that with a group of Ford stuff if we get some more of it. Price list on agricultural chemicals. And we have some books here tied together with some string. Vermin and Noxious Weed Act 1949. National Health booklet. More country fire information. We'll put that with the other fire stuff. A souvenir, the royal visit, that would have been Queen Elizabeth. And I don't know that she came through this area, maybe she did. Victoria, Melbourne, Hamilton, Sale, Traralgon, Yallourn, Warragul, Melbourne, Seymour. She came to Seymour. Train slows down only. So the train just goes slow enough for the Queen to do the wave. And then goes on to Benalla, Shepparton, Tatura, Echuca. It didn't come through Nagambie. Not that it mentions. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Royalty stuff is pretty hard to sell, but we'd possibly get $5 for that all the same. It's in pretty good condition. We had another little thing here about family worship, 1957. Unless it's anything related to Nagambie, I don't think I'd keep that one at all. Yep. Not much value in that. Income tax for farmers and graziers. I bet you the rules have changed a little from the 1950s. Registration labels. Oh look, someone's done their tax return on an envelope. Maybe. Alright, so that's just general farming stuff and some health stuff. All probably 1950s era. That's it, we've finished the suitcase. Okay, you guys awake? I hope I didn't put you all to sleep with that big long marathon unboxing of a suitcase full of papers. We've got some totals here. I found the sheet that I did when I unboxed the first suitcase and we had 125. I've added in what we got approximately from eBay, allowing for some fees. $255 from the first case. And the second case, well, I've priced them pretty well, as I've said. There's a couple I was maybe going to eBay, like the Fords and Tractor brochure. I didn't actually see one on there, but I found some very similar ones. I think we'll get 30 for that. And also the CFA manual, the Country Fire Authority manual here. Possibly could do better on eBay. But in the interests of tidying this deal up, that total adds up to $210. So $465. Just to show you what I've done with them, I've still got a few more to catalogue. But basically I put them in these folders in the shop with a price on them. And a lot of people love flicking through them, even if I don't buy anything. They just really enjoy the trip down memory lane. A lot of the older farmers particularly will remember some of the products and some of the booklets. And oh, that's another one that might have done well on eBay. I did find one of those that actually sold for $30. But look, if I get 10 bucks, there's no fees. It's nice and easy. I don't have to spend time doing a listing. So that's how I present all this paperwork. I have quite a few folders for various things. Early engine ephemera. That one's not labelled. What have I got in that one? I still have to update a few of these. And we do actually sell quite a lot of these. This one's some of the more the Victorian road laws stuff that you saw earlier. So I try to catalogue it into various areas. And as I said, people love flicking through this sort of stuff. So there we go. Not a bad price packet for a couple of old suitcases full of paper. Not to mention we've got a couple of vintage suitcases to sell, so, you know, $10 or $20 each there. We're pretty well on $500 return, or close to, and we've not only saved all that from being burnt or being sent to landfill or whatever people might do. Most people cleaning up a house have a bonfire or have an incinerator going and just burn all this stuff. But the other really important thing, although it's of no monetary value, is, well, it could be, but I like to donate the local history stuff to museums, to the local fire brigade. It's the sort of stuff that gets thrown out and history is lost, and that's worth a bit to me as well, just to redirect it back to people who care about it. So that's what I do with that sort of stuff. This is why we like to clean out complete house lots rather than people throw out all the rubbish and get a skip in first and then try and sell the best stuff to us. quite often the stuff they want to sell to us isn't the stuff we want. We're happy to save all this stuff, and we can do quite well out of it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this longer video. I'm always going through these sort of things. There'll be more coming up, so let me know if you liked it. Catch you in the next video. Bye for now.